All right, here we go. 5, 4, 3. What's so funny?
Could you sound a little more excited?
I know.
Could you sound a little more excited?
No, man. Let's get this show on the road. We got problems here. Let's get some energy, too. Like last couple episodes, you got no energy. Here we go.
He was depressed in the last one after they lost.
Oh, yeah, because I was pissed.
Welcome to the Matter of Stats.
We lost by 27 points. I was supposed to come on happy. Billy,
What's up?
are you prepared?
I'm as prepared as I normally am.
Wrong answer. Wrong answer.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Matter of Stats podcast. There's no time for shenanigans today because the clock is ticking. I said the clock is ticking.
Happy we got Luka Wednesday. How you doing, man?
I'm not satisfied. It's not enough for me. You know, it's never enough for me. That's not enough for me. We can get one of the best players on the planet, and it's still never enough.
Hey,
I'll just say it for you.
I mean, you got to admit, though, normally this time of year, the day before the trade deadline, we're, sweating beads, we're on pins and needles, Rob's got us on the edge of our seat. No trades have been made, but
This is what I'm like the night before the trade deadline. I'm on my knees on the pillow like this. Please, Rob, just do something.
hey, he's taking care of a big chunk of that for us this season. And I don't know if you heard, or I don't know if you saw, Anthony, but he may have secured his job for life. How do you feel about that? Did you see that?
Yeah, we'll see. Like if Luka opts out in 2 years, then let's see how secure that job is.
Oh, man. Hey, shout out Luka, though. As you can tell, we're doing video pod today. So as you may notice here, I kind of started growing out my little beard, little Luka beard. I got my hair combed to the side today just for, in honor of Luka. What do you think?
It. I love it. And you made your cheeks a little chubby too, just like Luka's.
Yeah.
I don't know how you did that, but that's amazing.
Yeah, man. Shout out Luka. So I'm ready, though. I'm excited.
You guys look like twins.
I'm excited, ready to rock.
So yes, obviously we're going to talk whole bunch of NBA trade nonsense, so to speak, here with the trade deadline less than 24 hours away. We are hopeful that the Lakers will do something else, obviously, to address some of the needs, especially the center position. But before we get into that, of course, real quick, we do always want to thank everybody for listening to the Matter of Stats podcast, checking out all our social media outlets. We love the feedback on the IG, the threads, the Twitter, or X, I should say. So we appreciate that. So thank you. So real quick.
You never learn, huh? You never learn. That's coming.
I never learn. Well, it's like, I never know when you're gonna throw those bullets out, right? All right. Before we get into, trade deadline updates, our last minute trade deadline scenarios, if you will, that we have put together here. Hopeful, like to say hopeful, but let's give a little recap. Obviously, everybody knows by now, of course, we do have Luka. AD's gone. Max Christie's gone. Since the trade went down over the weekend, just not that we're keeping score, but Mavs are 0-2, Lakers are 1-0. I'm just saying. But all joking aside, obviously this is the new look Lakers. And even before the AD trade, since we had our normal podcast last week, the Lakers been playing some good ball. They finished the Grammy road trip with only one loss, which is a tremendous road trip. Obviously, the loss just being the Philadelphia little breakdown there. But they coupled the end of that trip without Anthony Davis, obviously, was a huge win in the Garden against the Knicks. And then they followed it up with, I think, what everybody was expecting to be a typical Laker letdown loss to the Clippers, with an absolutely wire-to-wire dominant performance on both ends of the ball where, I mean, you saw the Lakers flying around, LeBron James diving on the floor. Like, I don't know what was happening in that Clipper game, but
well, I don't know that he was diving on the floor. That's what I initially thought. I was like, oh, damn, look at LeBron. He's diving for loose balls, man. He got pushed. He got pushed to the ground.
Whatever, push, dive. He was still on the floor, right?
He was still on the floor.
He was still making effort, is what I'm saying. But so the Lakers, yeah, they're fifth in the West, but they're tied with the Nuggets in the loss column. They're only a few games back of Memphis for the 2 seed, Rockets for the 3 seed. They've won 9 of their last 11 games, and they're playing good ball. Particularly, you know, we talked about this, you know, in the text thread last night. I don't know if it's mindset. I don't know if it's strategic, but it feels like even though they've been playing well over these last 10 or 11 games, but the last 2 games have felt different, right? Like the energy, the effort, I don't know if it's schematics or the way they're playing, but it looks different. It feels different. They look like they're a little more efficient on both ends of the ball. The rotations seem crisper. And we've noticed, at least I've noticed, a nice uptake in the 3-point shooting. I think they were 19 of 40 against the Knicks. And then I think they were 18 of 37 last night against the Clippers. So again, I don't know what you attribute that to, Kobe. Is it just effort, or is JJ kind of scheming things a little differently with the post AD era, if you will?
Yeah, it was definitely something that I noticed immediately, especially in that game last night. I mean, the guys were just like moving without the ball. They were flying all over the court, clearly running sets. But I mean, at the end of the day, you know what we're attributing last night to. Luka's on the floor. He's on the bench. He's right there spectating, and you know the guys are going to put on a show. That's really all that came down to. And you know, like our boy Matt Peralta from Lakers Nation said, you know, Steve Ballmer went and built us a home away from home, a second building. You know, so
yeah.
But no, I mean, like you said, the post AD era probably means we're going to be playing faster now. You know, and who would have thunk, you know, with a 40-year-old on your team that might be the game plan, you know, but
right.
I like what I see. And, you know, I'm ready for Luka. I'm ready to see what's going to happen with Luka. I know he's not the fastest guy, you know, in the room, you know, on the court. So that will be interesting to see too. And I am kind of curious to see if it's all going to work, because, you know, it kind of reminds me, and I know that Russ wasn't a big shooter, but at the same time, it was like, that was kind of the mentality and mindset too. I think at the time when we got Russ was like, yo, you got a big 3, you got Russ, one of the best players of all time. You got AD, you got LeBron, they'll figure it out. And they never really figured it out. So I'm really hoping that same thing doesn't happen with Luka.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and you can talk about the record. The Lakers are 10 games above 500, which I don't know if they were ever 10 games above 500 in the, you know, under Darvin Ham. So there's some, so you can, you know, optimistically believe that maybe JJ, you know, a little more of a, you know, basketball mind from the schematic standpoint, you know, might be able to remedy some of that. Obviously, Luka's totally different than Russell Westbrook. So we're not comparing apples to apples, like you said. But you're right. Of course, a lot of the, you know, experts or national media over the last couple of days are all, you know, the narrative is that it's not going to work. They're going to struggle. LeBron and, you know, Luka can't play together. They can't share the ball. They don't defend. All of these things, right? And there was a little bit of that when Kyrie went to Dallas with Luka, and then they, you know, figured it out eventually. You know, it took them. It wasn't instantaneous, but they did figure it out. And obviously, they went to the NBA Finals.
Yeah,
but I'm less worried only because I feel like, you know, LeBron has been through this before, right? He made it work with Dwayne Wade, because there was some of that too. If you remember, if you go back to those Heat teams, can Wade and LeBron coexist, right? Because they're both ball dominant, et cetera, et cetera. But they figured that out. He obviously made it work with Kyrie in Cleveland. So I'm less worried about that. Obviously, the defense is a tiny bit of a concern. The center position is obviously the most glaring area of trepidation, if you will, right? Because right now, the only real healthy, only really healthy, proven NBA center on the roster is Jackson Hayes, because Kleba doesn't sound like he's going to play anytime soon. Christian Wood doesn't sound like he's going to play anytime soon. And then you just got, basically the G leaguers, right? You got your two-way guys.
Yeah.
So that's obviously, my biggest area of concern. But I do agree with you. I think that they're going to play a different style. And I kind of feel like, not that JJ obviously didn't want or like Anthony Davis on the team, but I kind of feel like this is the vision or the way that JJ really envisioned this team playing. Because you remember back in September, he talked about, you want to be able to have as many two-way players as you can, space the floor. And he talked about, taking more threes, making more threes. And I feel like that's the way this team has played the last two games, where, like you said, they've been flying around the court. The defensive rotations have been crisper for whatever reason. They're taking more threes. They're making more threes. So maybe this is a little more of what, the style that JJ wants to play. So that also makes me optimistic for the rest of this season. Obviously, the long term is a totally different scenario. That's why Luka's here. But for the rest of this season, I am a little bit more optimistic because of that. We are also hopeful, of course, that Luka is going to make his debut for the Lakers either Saturday against the Pacers or Monday against the Jazz. I think the hope is that it's going to be Saturday, but the worst case scenario is that it'll be Monday against the Jazz. He did have his first official practice with the team today, so we'll definitely we're gonna get to see the Luka LeBron thing in real life here pretty soon.
Well, I think they were saying earlier that one of the networks, I can't remember who it was, ESPN or whoever,
they switched their national game on Saturday.
Yeah. To give priority to the Pacers and Lakers game, because they're assuming that Luka's coming back or
yes,
going to play Saturday.
which is interesting because that's a 1:00 Pacific time start.
Yeah.
So it's not a prime time.
Yeah. And is he coming back, you think, a little earlier than, because if he was in Dallas right now, would he be coming back on Saturday?
Well, what I had read before was that there was expectation that he was going to return just before the All-Star break on the Mavs too. Like that was the plan. Okay. Because his calf strain is normally like a 4 to 6 week injury, and he's already missed 5+ weeks. So he's kind of right on schedule to return around this time. Yeah. So if that's the case, he'll play a couple of games before the All-Star break for the Lakers, which is good, right? Get a couple games under your belt, feel it out, and then he'll get a week off to, recoup if he's got to, sort of catch his breath, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah. Saturday, Pacers. So we're either going to see Miles Turner or we're not, right?
Probably we'll see him. Not in the Laker purple and gold, still in the yellow and blue for the Pacers. That's my hunch. Which, of course, leads us into, our, trade deadline segment here. Obviously, the Laker mega deal sparked, a variety of huge trades, right? You got De'Aaron Fox get moved. Earlier, of course, the Jimmy Butler going to the Warriors was a huge breaking thing earlier today. The Warriors finally chased down a superstar to pair with, Steph and Draymond. So, and then, a series of, other trades, but a lot of big name players, getting moved, which is always fun. That's why I love the trade deadline.
But before we get into our trades here, I just want to
Mhm.
ask you, because you had mentioned it before we jumped online here. Warriors kind of screwed up your plans for tonight's presentation of trades.
Yeah, I had a juicy scenario that was going to drive people nuts, bringing Draymond to the Lakers to play with LeBron and Luka. But
Well, why can't we
you
make it
know,
happen still?
well, we could, but I just bagged it because I mean, if the Warriors are going all in to get Jimmy Butler, they're doing it because they obviously want to pair him with Steph and Draymond. So I don't know why the Warriors would have any desire to trade Draymond now, unless he goes into Steve Kerr's office and says, "I'm not playing with Jimmy Butler. Get me out of here by noon tomorrow."
Now we're thinking, dude. Now, see, you were gonna let me down. All that crappy talk on Rob, like, Rob, it's your job. Make it happen. Figure it out. And here you were getting ready to give up on your trade, man. The way I would, if I was Rob, I'm picking up the phone and I'm saying, look, you think Jimmy and Draymond are really gonna get along? You think they're really gonna make this work, dude? Come on.
Yeah, probably. I mean, hey, look, I told
Draymond's pissing
you
off everybody. Jimmy's pissing off everybody. That ain't gonna last more than 3 weeks, dude.
it's possible. Yeah, I mean,
Just send it
Draymond's not the easiest fella to get along with, from what it seems. But hey, I told you earlier in the season that I didn't think the Warriors were going to make the playoffs. Now, right now, I think they're 10th in the West. So I think they have a chance now. I think they're better with Jimmy, so they have a chance to make the play-in, but I still have my doubts. I still don't think they're a lock to make the playoffs. I think they can make the play-in, but I'm not sold.
That's interesting. I would think with Jimmy, they would be in that 5th or 6th seed. I would think. They'd claw their way back into that spot. I don't know.
Yeah, but they'd have to go. They have to make up a lot of games. I mean, obviously they're not out of it because we talk about how tight the West is. Yeah. So it's not like they're 10 games back, but when everybody is above 500, like I think the West has 11 teams that are above 500. So it's not impossible. It's just it's just a little bit harder in the last couple of years than it has been in previous seasons to make those kind of runs. But yeah, anyways, I went with something a little more Rob friendly.
A little more Rob friendly. Oh man. All right.
All right. So in honor of the trade deadline and our hope, please, Rob, to do at least one more trade before tomorrow afternoon. We've each come up with our own trade scenarios, and there's no real rules to it. It's just as long as it's legal, whatever we think or hope or wish the Lakers can do between now and the deadline, we're going to put our ideas out there in the universe and hope for the best, right?
Yep. So, you want me to go first?
Yeah. What you got? GM Kobe?
All right. Well, first of all, I got to let the viewers and listeners know. Obviously, if you're listening, you're gonna have to see this. I mean, we'll explain it too, but you'll want to visually check it out on YouTube. So make sure you go follow us, youtube.com/Matter of Stats podcast. But we're gonna actually pull up the ESPN trade machine here. So give me a sec. Let me pull that up. Share screen. Boom. So, all right. So I got my screen up.
All right.
You good? See that?
I see that. Right.
You on full screen, Anthony?
I am on full screen. I see LeBron and Luka right at the top.
Yeah. All right, cool. All right, so I'm going to add my second team here. I'm going to add Houston.
Ooh. And
so here's what's funny about the Houston thing is that about a week ago when we had planned this podcast, I was already thinking about Houston because I was thinking about Steven Adams. And then just a few days ago, all of a sudden, Steven Adams was in the news, potentially coming to the Lakers. So I thought that was interesting.
Yep.
And obviously, since I was thinking of this trade, some things have changed, obviously. So I had to kind of do a little work around here, but it's all good. I can still plug and play a little bit. So, all right. So for my first trade, here we go. So obviously,
first trade, how many you got?
I'm gonna do two. I'm gonna do two today. So obviously we're gonna go Steven Adams coming to the Lakers.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna go your boy Cam your buddy.
Okay.
So we're gonna
Okay.
start with Cam. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So we got a lot of, a little bit of a salary to make up here. So
Okay.
at Cam, I'm gonna go your boy C Wood, right?
Okay.
Couple guys not playing too much. We're not gonna miss those guys, right?
Yeah. Or not playing at all.
Or not playing at all. But this is where we start getting a little dicey, because gonna need some salary here. So
Okay.
I'm gonna go. Let's
Let
see.
me guess. 75-year-old Jeff Green.
I'm gonna go Gabe Vincent. So we're
Ooh.
still
Your boy
going
Gabe.
here.
Your boy
Going
Gabe.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bet the house. I'm bet the house you ain't trading Rui.
Well, you'd be wrong. So I'm gonna actually add in Rui here. So let's see.
What?
Where is he?
He's right at the top.
Rui.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot for Steven Adams.
I know. Well, because we're not done yet. Now I got to add the most untouchable player on our roster here. So I'm throwing Bronny.
Oh, that's already a quick veto right there.
Throwing in Bronny, but no. It's okay because we're gonna trade one of LeBron's sons for another one of his sons, Dylan Brooks.
Oh my God, Dylan Brooks!
Way to go, Dylan Brooks!
What?
There we go. So try this trade. It's successful, baby. We're doing it.
The vampire himself, Dylan Brooks.
Dylan Brooks. Hey man.
Wow.
Dylan blew it on that inbounds play last night over in Brooklyn, and team ain't happy with you right now. So I'm sure they'll make the trade.
Size and defense.
That's right. Size and defense.
Giving up Rui and our only point guard off the bench.
It's a win-win for everybody. Houston can sell some jerseys now with Bronny. We get,
okay.
We get a win.
Houston can sell some jerseys with Bronny.
Yeah, man. So yeah. What do you think? You like it?
I don't like Dylan Brooks at all. You know that. But I don't mind Steven Adams. I think it would be a nice cheap option at big because, we all saw the Luka press conference. We know that, Rob made it pretty clear that doesn't sound like they were going to go get a, what do you call it, championship level big. So Steven Adams definitely fits that mold of, on the second tier around the fringe type big. He's older. He makes less money. He's on an expiring deal. All those kind of things that are right in Rob's wheelhouse.
Yeah. No, for sure. But in all seriousness, so that was just for fun. But in all seriousness here, question for you, Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what the Lakers rank is in offensive rebounding?
I don't know what their rank is, but I know they're in the bottom 5.
They are 22nd in the NBA.
Yeah.
In offensive rebounding.
That's not very good.
Yeah. Do you know what Steven Adams ranks as a player in offensive rebounding?
Oh, I'm sure Houston ranks in the top 5, don't they? So
yeah, he's number 1 in the NBA in offensive rebounding at let's see, 17.9% according to lakeshowlife.com. So
yeah. No, I don't mind Steven Adams at all. It's just the Dylan Brooks part I don't like.
Yeah. So instead, I would go Steven Adams for C Wood and Gabe Vincent.
Okay.
Trade is successful.
Okay.
What do you think? You think that's cool? You would do that?
Yeah, I do. I think there's 2 things I would really like Rob to accomplish. One of them is obviously get it bigger too, but I'd like him to open up a roster spot. Now, we know that the Lakers are a first apron team, so they can't sign just anybody in the buyout market, right? But I think there's going to be, and there's already been, some guys that are going to get waived that are going to be under the $12.8 million threshold that the Lakers can operate under. And I would love to see a guy like Torrey Craig wind up on this Laker roster because he can fill the void of a Max Christie in a sense, right? They're the same type of player.
Yeah.
So I would like to get that kind of guy back since we had to give up Christie in the Luka trade.
Yeah.
And then if you get a guy like Steven Adams, of course he's no Anthony Davis, but at least you filled the two areas that you had to part with to get Luka. Yeah. So I would really like to see those two things happen by tomorrow. Get at least one big, open up a roster spot if you can't land a 3-and-D player via the trade. Because I don't think the Lakers are going to be able to do anything big, not necessarily because they don't want to trade the first round pick. It's just like you put in your scenario, the first one. The only way you can get anybody is the Lakers are going to have to part with multiple salaries. So you're going to have to give up Gabe Vincent, Vando, and Rui to get any one of these type of bigs. If you want to get a Turner or, Kessler or Vucevic or, just whatever. I'm not saying I like all those guys, but if you wanted to get, what's his name from Toronto, their center, all of those guys are good, but they all make, even Claxton, who I think you kind of like, I think you do like Nick Claxton. He makes $22 million. Yeah. So you can't do it without giving up Rui and Gabe.
Yeah, it's funny because guys on our IG will be like, "Oh, take out Rui and put in Christian Wood," and I'm like, "We can't just pull out Rui."
Hey, it'd be great if we could. Sure, right? Yeah, sure. I'd trade Bronny for Anthony Edwards. Yeah, why not?
Someone finally put in our comments today. Do people in these damn comments not understand salary matching? It's like, dude, for real.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to be a capologist to know that 2 + 2 equals 4, and if you're giving up X amount, you can't take X amount in return.
Yeah,
but
I'm curious to see what you got. What do you got for it?
All right, so with that being said, with my little spiel there, because I don't think the Lakers will make another quote unquote big deal, because it's gonna require giving up pieces that I don't think the Lakers want to give up to make those salaries match. I think that they're going to make a smaller Rob Pelinka-esque deal.
We got to be careful, everybody. Anthony struggles with technology. Oh, there we go.
Finally, okay, so here is my Rob Pelinka special.
A 4-team deal? Come on, dude.
A 4-team deal. So
that ain't no Rob Pelinka special.
Oh, it's beautiful. But look at what we're talking about here. This has Rob Pelinka written all over it. Okay, you don't have to give up. You don't have to give up first round pick. You could float somebody a second round pick. All of these guys are cheap, expendable.
Okay.
Not sacrificing any of the long-term future.
Okay. Are you going to tell the listeners who you got on the screen?
No, I will. So as Kobe mentioned, 4-team trade between the Lakers, the Pacers, the Nets, and the Hornets. Now, I know you're thinking Turner, Claxton. Nope, not happening. Instead, the Lakers will end up with Sharp, who we've heard his name floated around a lot the last couple of weeks.
Aaron Sharp.
Yep. And James Wiseman. Remember him? Former number 2 overall pick. Just wasting away there and on his 3rd team now. The Pacers will get Shake Milton. The Nets will get Christian Wood and Taj Gibson from the Hornets. And the Hornets will get Cam Reddish. So the reason why there's 4 teams in here is just so we can unload players and make sure it works, with the salary rules. But you'll see what we're accomplishing is we're getting 2 bigs, athletic type bigs, which is ideally what the Lakers are looking for, without, sacrificing the future or giving up a lot of players to make a big contract work. And you're also opening up 1 roster spot, which I told you was my other caveat to doing something, is go get a couple of bigs, at least 1, but ideally 2, and open up a roster spot. So now you could maybe bring in a Torrey Craig, or somebody else that gets bought out that makes under the $12.8 million. And, you're not sacrificing Rui, Gabe, or Vando,
Right.
but you're getting low. I mean, I get it. They're low rent bigs, but nonetheless, at least the Lakers are getting bigs because they have to get something. I mean, I think we agree that if the Lakers don't do anything tomorrow, that's going to be a major, major problem.
Yeah. So two things. One, I like it because, like you said, we're getting bigs. This is a marginal move, nothing crazy, and we're not giving up anything crazy.
Right.
But what I want you to do is explain to the fans why each team would accept our trade. Because that's the big gripe from a lot of people. Is like, why would Indiana do that? Why would Charlotte take Cam Reddish? So explain.
Yeah.
What's the benefit for each team?
Yeah. So my thought process is that if the Lakers could float their second round pick to, say, the Nets, I think the Nets would do that, right? Because Taj Gibson and Wood are also expiring players, so they're taking on no salary. They're getting a second round pick. Now, maybe what you do with the Pacers and the Hornets is the Pacers, you're shedding a little salary. I know that Shake has one more year, but you're saying, okay, maybe they want a guard instead of Wiseman, who isn't really probably not a part of their future, right? And then maybe the Hornets, okay, it's just expiring deals, but maybe Cam Reddish, might be a little more valuable to them than Taj Gibson. So you're kind of just looking for a partner to help. Maybe the Lakers can give their pick to the Nets. Maybe there could be a pick swap, or maybe the Nets could float a pick to the Hornets. So it's very hypothetical, but I think that this is closer to what I was trying to accomplish. Was what is going to be closest to reality. It's probably not going to be something this extravagant, but what is closest to reality of what the Lakers could actually do tomorrow? I think it will be something like this. Not exactly this, of course, but something like this. Like you said, very marginal, around the edges, as they like to say.
So you put, a trade up that you think is going to happen, you think Rob is going to make, not necessarily one that you would want to see, or what would you ideally want to see? Or do you have another one? What's happening?
Well, of course, ideally, I want the Lakers, me, trade the picks. I think picks are overrated. I would trade the first round pick, to get something of value. So what would I like to see? I'd like to see the Lakers go for it. If you try to get Miles Turner, if you can't get Miles Turner, go to Atlanta and see can we get Clint Capella and Bogdanovich if we give up Vando, Rui, whatever, right? Try something like, I'd like to see the Lakers go for it. Of course, Walker Kessler would be ideal because he's young and he only makes $2.5 million. But it doesn't sound like Danny Ainge is going to deal Walker Kessler, period, especially to us, because if you read those reports about how allegedly he didn't know what the deal was that he was signing up for until after it happened.
Yeah, he ain't helping us for the rest of his life.
He ain't helping us. Yeah, until he's out of Utah, he ain't helping us.
Rob's got his job for life, and Utah's never helping us in life.
As long as Danny Ainge is there, Utah ain't trading us nothing.
Oh man.
So, but yes, I would love to see the Lakers find a way to get Miles Turner or something. I'd give up that first round pick, but I just realistically don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see what goes down. We're what, 15 hours away? Is that right?
Something 16, like that.
Yeah.
Yep. I think it's noon Pacific time, right? Is the official trade deadline Thursday.
Unfortunately, by the time this drops, though, because we got to go through and chop it up and edit it and upload it and all that, and that takes time. So the trade deadline will probably be over before anybody even sees this, but probably get the audio to you guys before that. But it's all good. It's all for fun, you know.
Hey, it's what we're here for.
We're here for the entertainment. Shout out our guy Billy, a little under the weather this week, so he wasn't able to make the last couple episodes, but I'm sure we'll see him next week, man. It's not the same without Billy Boy.
That's true. That's true. But we'll leave you with this. Rob, the clock is ticking. It's ticking.
Oh, man. Anthony's never happy. We get the best player in the
world.
world.
Make it happen. Make it happen with your leather jacket.
All right, man. Get us out of here.
All right. Well, that will wrap up this week's edition of the Matter of Stats podcast. Of course, we thank you for listening. We appreciate all the feedback, all the love, and continue to check us out anywhere you get your podcasts. Check out our social media accounts and check out our YouTube page for this very new pod.
Peace.
Matter of Stats podcast.